Regional Animal Shelter. It can either give the shelter to the state or risk having it taken away. But did things have to get so bad, or did county health inspectors drop the ball? Walt Kane in your corner to continue this investigation. You will see only on News 12. Walt.
Well, our conditions at the Helmetta Regional Animal Shelter are so bad that Middlesex County ordered it quarantined. The state is now demanding the borough hand it over. So why did inspectors allow this facility to stay open for 3 years? Did the inspectors do enough, or should they have done more? When the Helmetta Regional Animal Shelter was raided last week, Middlesex County Health Director Lester Jones announced the building needed to be shut down.
The facility has been quarantined, based on the assessment of the veterinarians that were here today.
But did the health department do enough to protect these animals before last week's raid? Listen to why officials say the quarantine was ordered.
There were some animals that were very, very sick. There were animals that were near death.
Now, look at these inspection reports from the health department. They show inspectors repeatedly cited the Helmetta shelter for the same violations over and over again. Problems with disease control and isolation of sick animals, and with cleaning and disinfection. All things likely to contribute to an outbreak of disease. Yet in every case, inspectors gave the shelter a rating of at least conditionally satisfactory, allowing the shelter to continue doing business as usual. It's no wonder shelter opponents are angry.
With all of the health inspection reports and the same things being on the report time and time and time again, how could you expect anybody to think that this facility is okay?
This should have been taken care of a long time ago, and then we wouldn't have the problem we have now with the quarantine and everything else that's going on.
This summer, Lester Jones, the health director, also wrote a letter to the mayor of Sayreville, one of the towns serviced by the Helmetta shelter. He said deficiencies at the shelter were not of a serious nature and did not pose a hazard to the animals. Here's the thing. Jones wrote that letter on August 11th. Just 3 days later, the SPCA did an inspection, and it found all kinds of problems, including animals not being provided with necessary care.
So what does that tell you? You can't come in here on a Monday and say the facility's wonderful and get this glowing review and post it up on Facebook, and then 2 days later when everybody complains, come in here and go, oh, it's not so good.
Jones says that comparison is unfair because the state SPCA and his health department enforce different laws, so inspectors look for different things. Here's something else. As I told you in my investigation last week, one of the biggest problems at the shelter was the fact that new animals were put in the isolation room right next to ones that were very sick.
One cat with a disease can now stick his arm out and touch the arm, the leg of another cat, spreading disease back and forth.
In September, a health department inspector insisted that had all changed. Isolation rooms are no longer being used to receive intake animals, he wrote. But DuBois insists the old management never stopped putting healthy animals next to sick ones. That's why there was so much disease, he says. And when the shelter was raided last week, officers found the same thing. Now, I asked Middlesex County Health Director Lester Jones about his department's performance. He is adamant that his inspectors did nothing wrong. He says, quote, the inspections performed on any given date only reflect the conditions that exist at that time. Jones adds the important focus at this time is ensuring that the animals in the shelter are being cared for and a comprehensive and coordinated plan is in place. Meantime, Helmetta is still under that 48-hour deadline to turn over the shelter to the state or have it taken away. The deadline expires tomorrow. Do you know something I need to investigate? Call us at 732-738-KANE or email kaneinyourcorner@news12.com or find me on Facebook at Kane in Your Corner.
Well, let's talk about these conditionally satisfactory ratings because they'd been handed out on more than one occasion.
Almost every single inspection is conditionally satisfactory.
Right. So, I mean, you would think there would be checks, balances, and follow-through to make sure that these things aren't persistent. So what happens then?
Well, conditionally satisfactory, as you know, means you have to correct the condition. And sometimes they were correcting one condition and not another. Sometimes you do see the same problems time and time again. Confidentially, one source says, you have a facility that fills a need. You have a lot of animals. You don't want to shut it down and leave animals no place to go. And sometimes that type of thinking may influence decision making.
Interesting. All right, Walt Kane, thank you.